Armand Curtean is a frequent guest here on Fox 5. He does a little bit of everything, but Armand, you have a good amount of aviation experience, and I think knowing at least what we know right now, how does something like this, I think it's a question a lot of people have. I don't know if you have the answer. How does something like this happen?
Well, I'm going to have to give you a few hypothetical scenarios. Just watching that video and how it actually occurred as the American Airlines jet is descending, the pilot, if the pilot, really hadn't flared, is probably still looking down, but you can't really see what's below your aircraft very well. The helicopter, on the other hand, has very good visibility above it, so the pilots would be able to see what's happening above. So I say, okay, how did the helicopter not see this American Airlines jet with flashing strobes in front of them? Were the pilots distracted in the cockpit? Were they looking at something? Did they have some other kind of issue? One is talking on the radio. Were they looking at a different display? As you can see, this happened very, very quickly as perhaps the jet came into the helicopter's view. They may have only had a few seconds to actually notice it. Now, the other question is, okay, the air traffic control is talking to the American jet and the helicopter at the same time. Was it the same air traffic controller? Or perhaps were one or both of the aircraft not reporting their altitude correctly? It might have been said before, ADS-B, ADS-B, which is a way for aircraft in that airspace to precisely state where they are on a regular basis. They basically push out their GPS position. In the old days, it was just IFF, so it was just a singular sort of ping, an active ping on the radar, saying, here I am, but the radar can only figure out where it was. In this case, the GPS position says this is exactly where I am in three-dimensional space. So if such a collision was about to occur, the air traffic controller would get an immediate alert. They would see two converging tracks into the same piece of airspace, say within 1,000 feet of each other. The air traffic controller would be alerted. You didn't hear any type of urgency in the voice of the air traffic controller. So that would lead me to believe that perhaps one or both of the aircraft were not broadcasting ADS-B, or there was perhaps a problem there. So there's a lot of potential possibilities. However, it does seem, at least on first glance, knowing more, that both aircraft seem to be operating nominally without any other kinds of emergencies or other kinds of issues, unless something happened that we simply didn't hear on tape.
I want to point out to those of you referenced the video or the audio. We read the audio. We do not have that to share. Otherwise, we would do so. But I appreciate you sharing it because I think you can tell a lot from the inflections and the tone of voice in situations like that.
Yeah, it definitely adds context to it, sense of urgency. Armand, I want to ask you because, back in 2023, the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority president had really advocated against...
Hey, hang on one second. Hang on.
Okay.
So we just got in our ears, and I want to point this out. That helicopter, the Sikorsky helicopter, the Black Hawk helicopter, was on a training mission when it crashed. Just to share that with everybody. And again, 3 soldiers on board, no idea of their condition, nor do we have any clue about the 64 people on board that plane.
And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but in training missions, I mean, those are routine for them. This is their training area. I mean, it happens quite a bit. You see a lot of helicopters around, and so perhaps a routine training mission. But good information there. But just going back to what the airport authority president said, he advocated against adding more flights, additional flights, said that they were already operating at full capacity, that the main runway here at DCA is the most widely one used. I think 90% of their flights come in and out of it, one of the busiest runways in the nation. And so this is a busy airport. I mean, is there, just in your experience, with what you know, we saw reports leading up to this of near misses and close calls, but valid concern here where we live?
So not knowing exactly what the number of takeoff and landings are going on, you have to just look at the geography, though. Reagan National is right in the heart of the D.C. area. Basically the national capital region, let's say, right there in the heart of the Potomac. So when you look at the air traffic load coming into Dulles, into Baltimore, Washington, International, Certainly, you can understand their hesitancy to bring in additional folks, and then you have to ask, well, why would he say that? Well, there could be some very good reasons. Perhaps the number of air traffic controllers they have was simply not enough. Perhaps the amount of ground crews was a limiting factor. Perhaps there were some other limiting factors that would prevent them from handling more aircraft. Not necessarily a safety issue, but simply from a logistics standpoint. It takes a lot to bring in an aircraft and send it off.
Yeah.
So it could be a number of factors.
Armand, thank you very much. Again, we're getting more information as it comes in by the moment here, and we got to go out to Shamari Stone, who is right near the airport with